What is up, everyone? Happy Thursday, and welcome to the Thursday Night Rundown. We have a really, really good show for you tonight. It's going to be a little controversial, and I absolutely love it. It's going to be great. Happy fake Star Wars Day for all you fans out there, especially all you Disney stans. It's going to be a good show. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Got the Hollywood strike to talk about. Then, obviously, we have some, as always, some happy Star Wars news to discuss and laugh at. And then the ending is going to be probably the best part for me, the most controversial part, and I'm really looking forward to it. So before I introduce my guest, I want to say hey to a couple people in the chat. As always, my favorite hater, as always, Jeffrey Miller. Of course, you are a fan of Weirdo Matt Walsh. Never said I was a fan, but hey, I appreciate Jeffrey, as always, and keep the hate coming. Keely Chow, hope you're doing well. Night Ronin, my friend and channel member. I hope you guys are doing well. How's it going, JR? I appreciate you all being here and watching. And I want to pull in my very special guest for this stream. It's going to be a very good time. Welcome, ETAP from his YouTube channel, A Place to Be Reviews.
Hey,
what is going on, my friend?
Hey, it's good to be back, man. It's good to be back. We got you got some good topics lined up. I see the chats going, and I find it odd that Yukon Cornelius has internet access way up there to to be able to make comments in the chat. I'm glad they finally got a 5G up in the North Pole up there.
Yeah, old Redbeard. Yeah, he's like I said, he's my favorite hater of all time. I respect him. It's just a love-hate relationship we have. But hey, without Jeffrey Miller, I wouldn't have a lot of laughs on this channel. So hey, I'm all about it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
But yes, Bobby too. May the 4th commercial Star Wars Day be with you as well. I hope you all are doing fun. And Eta, let's get into, before we get into the Star Wars stuff, because there's a lot to talk about. Let's talk about this. Let's jump right in, because I know everyone's talking about Star Wars, and then our last topic is going to be the best. Let's talk about this lovely writer's strike. And I'm going to pull up this article here in just a second. Because we haven't spoken in a while. What are your thoughts on all this stuff?
The writer's strike, I think, is actually funny. Because you don't have writers that are on strike. You have activists that are on strike. Let's be honest. And it all boils down to money. Thank you, GR. That's one of my shows at WKRP. But no, I really do think I think it's funny. I really do, because they're all bickering over money. They're pissed because the streaming is taking away from network. But I mean, think about it. What was the last big must-watch show on network TV? I mean, what back in you're talking years ago, you had like The Walking Dead. But we're talking
West
Wing. Yep. Lost.
Yeah.
Things like that. The Office. Those are your must-see shows. But we don't have anything like that anymore. There's nothing. Everything that is must see, or the trends, as it were now, to use the modern vernacular and verbiage, is all on streaming. Your Cobra Kai's, I'm sorry, Yellowstone is still on network television.
I believe so. Yeah.
I think it is. I know the spinoffs were on Paramount Plus. So this is, to me, and as somebody who's reviewed plenty of television series that are written by complete morons, I quit reviewing Gotham Knights. I couldn't take it. And I have 83 Batwoman videos under my belt. Those were my most viewed videos, were those Batwoman reviews. And 4 episodes of Gotham Knights I tapped out. I'm like, I'm done. I can't do this. So these people that are striking, these are activists, and I'm fine with watching them, wriggle under the pressure a little bit. It's funny, because Hollywood is so deprived. It's just a bunch of depraved weirdos. So to see any amount of suffering coming from them is just it's sweet revenge. I don't like to see people go without,
Of
but
course, yeah.
in this case, I can sit back and just laugh a little bit and say, look at the assholes. You know, this is beautiful.
Well, and the good writers, the ones that are worth anything, like, people that are involved in like Stranger Things, right? And
Yep.
really good shows that are still out today, they're going to be okay. Like they're not going
Yeah.
where they're not going to be affected because the
No.
talent level is so low that even if you're mediocre, you're going to be the cream of the crop and you're going to rise. Like that's just the reality of it. That's the beauty of where they're at now. That if you're just, I mean, think about all the shows that we do praise today. Most of them are mediocre compared to back in the day, right? We look at that as gold
Yeah.
now because everything
Yeah.
is such trash. So those writers and stuff are going to be fine. The ones that are being affected now and everything, as you said, are activists, and these are the people that literally spit in our faces as fans when
Mhm.
our favorite franchises. Things like you mentioned, was it Batgirl, Batwoman, Major
Batwoman.
Batwoman? I didn't watch any of that show. I was like, no, thank
It
you.
was terrible.
But like Obi-Wan really doing that show really helped my channel explode. And
Mhm.
thankful I thank those writers because if it wasn't for them destroying Obi-Wan Kenobi in that series, I wouldn't have any good content to laugh at. So I
Yeah.
do tip my hat to them. But at the end of the day, good. They don't deserve the jobs. They don't deserve, and I mean, they think this is 2007, 2008. There's no money anymore. Like we're not.
No.
Do they not know
No.
what's going on in the world and what's happening and world policies or the collapse of the dollar? Banks are falling apart. Like this is not the time to be striking. This is
Yep.
definitely not it. So the only thing I can somewhat understand to a somewhat level is maybe the AI stuff. But
Yeah.
even so, I can't. I don't know. I mean, have you heard like some of the AI generated music? Like they use Drake's voice and all this, where like some of the stuff's really freaking good. It's scary how good it is. So, like, I don't know. I would rather have an AI generated story than what these douchebags are putting out now.
Yeah, and that's a lot of it because we're seeing from these writers is a lot of self-inserts, and we have we have what is it? Like the I'm not Starfire, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that one.
Oh yeah.
And I mean it's there's stuff like that that's just glaring. She-Hulk.
Yep.
A lot of that. The Riva character. I mean that everything about her was cringe. That Obi-Wan show, I only made it through a couple episodes. My son even lost interest in it. You know, and that's a character like I love Obi-Wan from the prequels. Ewan
Oh yeah.
McGregor was amazing. And I was like, I had cautious optimism, and I just, oh God, I was like, after the lightsaber fight between him and Kenobi and Vader, I was
God,
like,
yeah.
I'm done.
The
I'm
rock
done.
throwing. Oh, the one where Obi-Wan runs away. I
Yep.
cry laughing at that
Yeah.
every single time. Like it's literally the most
Hmm.
hysterical thing I've ever seen in my life watching that scene. But it's so bad. But like right now, right? This is the immediate effect to the writer strike. So
Hmm.
already right here, I see a win. Late night, all these late night shows, these propaganda TV
Oh,
television with the whole
yes.
Colbert skit of the vaccine dancing around like these clowns lost their jobs. Like I'm like this is a win. This is a win. This stuff's off television. I'm
Hmm.
sorry. Like if these are the writers that are coming up with this stuff are losing their jobs. I mean, look at how much money these writers have cost Hollywood, right?
Hmm.
Like She-Hulk and all that.
Yeah.
And they expect more money. They expect to be protected for what? You've put out nothing. You've put out garbage. And
Yep.
like I said, I don't want to get into the weeds of this article, but this is the immediate effect where late night television shutting down. I mean, when's the last time anyone's even watched this besides if you're not beyond 60 years old?
I gave up on I used to watch Letterman every night with
Yeah.
my mom.
Jay
Like I
Leno
loved
too. I liked him.
yeah. Letterman, Leno, and then Craig
Craig
Kilborn.
Ferguson.
Craig
Remember
Ferguson, yeah.
he was
Before him was
funny.
Kilborn. I used to
Yep.
love him. And then yeah, Ferguson took over. And in an instant, all those guys gone, and they're replaced with these idiots. And Stephen Colbert used to be funny when he was just a correspondent on the Daily Show because you didn't take him seriously because it was comedy. Jimmy Kimmel was on the Man Show, used to be funny, but then he turned into a cuck, and now he's just like the other night he was, Trump said something about the rap, blah, blah, blah. He's out of a job. And then 2 days later, Jimmy Kimmel's sitting there going,
Yeah.
oh shit.
The Trump curse.
Yep. And it's like, I don't care if you voted for Trump or not. What I do care about is the dude's not even president anymore. And these guys are still trying to mine material, and this is just shows they have writers. This is the best that their writers can come up with. This is the apex of comedy now, which isn't comedy, it's activist humor.
Yep. And interesting that you say that, and I know you brought it up earlier. So this is an article, it's talking about photos of them on the picket line, right? That the people that are picketing and whatnot. And so let's just take a quick look as to the type of people that are picketing, and then this will give you a little bit of a glimpse as to why we are the situation that we're in. So this is one of the signs. I don't know if you guys can see this very well, but it says fade out without riders. That's all you get. Now that's the infamous fade out of Kathleen Kennedy saying that. I mean, if that's all you get, look what else we've already gotten with you in place. We've gotten Obi-Wan. We've gotten Mandalorian that can't keep their shit together. We got was Andor, which some people say was good, but no one watched it.
Nope.
We have all these other shows that nobody gives two shits about. So, I mean, really, what normally you have to, when you go on strike, you have to have some type of leverage. What's your leverage? That you've lost money for the companies? Here's another one.
A lot of money.
Here are your other activists. Look at them all in the background, right? Here's another one. Yeah. No deal, no writing. This is the way. And there's more activists here. So these are your leftist lunatics that are writing all our TV shows. Now, again, I didn't need visuals to prove it, but this is clearly what you're dealing with when you're the people that are writing our television shows. So the fact that they're striking now in probably the worst way or the worst time economically, it's hilarious. And I really, really hope that this cleans house and gets a lot of people out there that don't belong there, because I have a feeling not a lot of them are going to come back at all. Hopefully not, anyway.
Their sense of self-worth is only matched by their massive egos. I mean, it's the narcissism of this whole strike is, I mean, this could have been settled, but they think that they're worth way more money than they are in reality. And it's funny. It is almost like this is a tragic comedy that we're living through right now, our times. And I'm just waiting for the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Oh, yeah, I know. Well, what's funny is like you have this, right, where you have actors coming out and supporting them. It's like they're not paying out of their pocket. They don't care. Like at the end of the day, they're just without us, no one would Netflix and chill. Okay, sure.
There's still plenty of stuff on Netflix.
And that's the thing, right? So this is the time for your independent creator to explode. Because YouTube's not going on strike. How many times have you had people like, hey, I'm not going to watch Batgirl. I'm not going to watch Obi-Wan. I'm going to watch you review it because I don't want to deal with that trash.
That's why I reviewed Batwoman for 3 seasons. Is I had, and that helped my channel. Like I said, the videos were always got great views. I'm shocked that none of these people are wearing masks. What a bunch of bigots.
I know, right?
Climate change is going to get them.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's climate change is getting a couple famous actors. I don't know if you heard about Jamie Foxx. I really hope he pulls through. It's terrible.
Is that Sean Penn?
It looks like it, but you never know.
I was looking for what was his name? El Chapo. I figured if Sean Penn was there, he'd be with El Chapo.
But yeah, so I just thought this was funny and worth bringing up. Fair pay now, like I said, and Carlos makes a very good point. AI is coming to take their jobs. I mean, AI is going to eventually take over for YouTubers as well. I mean, there's AI things now where, like right now, like I make my own thumbnails. I know you make thumbnails. Like there's
Mhm.
AI that can just do it all for you. And even the
Yep.
voice over stuff, like you just type it all out and just most of it, it'll do it for you. So AI is crazy. I think it still has a little bit of ways to go, but for the most part, man, AI is going to be changing the game on a lot of this stuff.
Now, call me crazy and old fashioned, but I mean, I've seen Terminator. We understand what Skynet is. I mean, and even Elon Musk said we need to kind of be
Slow
careful with
down.
what we're
Yeah.
doing with this stuff because, I mean, with the state of the world now, not to get too far off topic, but to keep it in the realm of AI, with everything that's going wrong, do we really need do we really need something that could possibly just develop its own sentience and be faster than us? I don't think so.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, no, I 100% agree. Like it's very scary. I mean, if you look into
yeah,
like is it Boston Dynamics, those robots? Have you ever seen those, the videos?
no,
Yeah, they could basically do like American Ninja Warrior type stuff. Like they can run and jump and
no,
yeah,
we don't
and
we don't
they could
fucking
already
need
do
that. We
that. They've been
we don't
doing that.
need battle droids, damn it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, and again, not to get too crazy off topic, but that's essentially what AI is not going to be good if it continues down this path. And
No,
like you said, when you have, was it
no.
the head of Google back down? Was like, hey guys, like this is getting a little crazy. I got to get out of
Yep.
here. So pretty wild. Flash the Phoenix says, yeah, I use AI to make comments in this chat. That's pretty fair. That might be, that's who Jeffrey Miller is. He's an AI robot. That would make more sense.
Yeah,
That
he's a bot.
he's a Google bot. Oh man, but yeah, I just thought it's definitely worth bringing up in the
Oh
chat.
yeah.
We're live talking about the writer's strike. Like I said, I think this is, if anything, a positive. I think this is going to weed out a bunch of people that don't belong here or have
Mhm.
ruined a lot of our TV shows and IPs. And who knows, man? Like I said, the YouTubers aren't going anywhere, not anytime soon until they start kicking us off the platform one by one, which is going to come.
Yep.
But yeah, so we'll move on to the next topic, everyone's favorite topic as always, and that is the Happy Fake Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. Now, I want to share this rant. I don't know, you know who Razor Fist is, right?
Oh, I love Razor
I
Fist.
love Razor Fist. So, this is a rant that he had done a long time ago, I think back in 2018, and I thought it was worth to show again. So let me play this for everyone real quick. It's only 53 seconds, so listen up real quick. Let me know if this is loud enough.
On this May the 4th, just a helpful reminder.
Yeah.
The casino scene was pointless. Porgs will never be a thing. You never delivered on Darth Sidious. The issue with Rey isn't her gender, it's her earth-rending Mary Suitude. She's grating. She's unlikable. One glance at the toy aisle at Target's all the evidence you need to confirm she's box office butthole cancer. You couldn't move her merch with a backhoe. She's played by an actress who can't. But hey, at least the writers are so enamored with the bushy-browed bitch they ever saber in the living shit out of people infinitely more experienced than she ever was. In short, she's Roman Reigns with tits. If you don't get why that would be annoying to a paying fucking audience, file into a fucking Raw sometime and drink in the goddamn booze. Actually, fuck it. We both know you're locked into exactly why we find her annoying, but it's easier to cling fast to those pearls and sob on the sofa about sexism and girl power like a Spice Girls spurg, while willfully ignoring this broad as a plot hole with a pussy. Jam your made-up holiday up your ass. On this May the 4th, just a
So yeah, and for most of you already know that May 25th is the actual Star Wars Day. Today is just the commercial day for them to sell merch and make as much money as possible off Star Wars that they can't sell anymore. So I don't like this day. I don't celebrate this day. If you do, that's okay. I don't discredit you or dislike you or anything. That's fine because we all do love Star Wars here. Just don't do things like this. Okay. Don't be this guy. Don't be like Star Wars Explained and post pictures of yourself doing this. Even if you do it, just don't do this. This is gay. All right. So
That's
don't do
it's
this.
it's very apropos that the cover of the book is arranged almost as if a rainbow.
Yeah. Well, and what's funny, the reason why I brought this up, besides this pathetic human being hugging a book, Star Wars Timelines is a book that came out that made a little controversy. And I don't know, have you been following The Mandalorian and all that nonsense? I know you've kind of checked out of Star Wars, didn't you?
I pretty much have. But as far as the downfall of Star Wars, I can honestly say from my seat that everything is proceeding exactly as I had foreseen. It's funny. My kid watches Mandalorian.
Yep.
You know, he's almost 8. We've been watching it since it came out. And he's got a lot of the action figures along the way. But the quality of the show is just like season 1, and I look at it like this. We've been fed shit since Disney took over. And I know a lot of people like Rogue One. I enjoyed Rogue One because it was finally like a war movie.
Yes, absolutely.
That being said, I didn't give a shit about Cassian Andor because I knew everybody was going to die. So I didn't care. Like, what's her name? The chick that played, what was the gal's name in that movie?
Jen Erso or whatever.
Jen Erso. Yeah, Jen Erso. Oddly enough, the actress that played her played Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Oh God.
Okay. Yeah. But that movie, those characters, I couldn't get invested in them. Like, I liked the reshoots at the end with the Vader scene. That saved the entire movie for a lot of people. I thought it was cool because that's the Darth Vader we were always robbed of. We always wanted to see that. But outside of that,
possibly, I don't know. Allegedly, maybe, I don't know. I wouldn't. I mean, based on this photograph, wouldn't surprise me.
Are they friends with Ilhan Omar and her brothers? My question. Anyway, allegedly.
That's how they figured out how to get married.
They hey, let me call Omar. If she knows.
You guys know.
Yeah, they're experienced in this kind of thing. But no, Star Wars has been bad since Disney took over. So we got a little bit of something in The Mandalorian, which everybody, including myself, was overhyped about. Because it's just being, I've been a Star Wars fan. I saw Return of the Jedi in the theater in '83. It wasn't playing anywhere within 200 miles of me for screenings, which sucked because I couldn't go see it again.
Same.
So I was robbed of that. And my point in this rambling monologue being that The Mandalorian got so much praise during season 1 because it was the best thing we've got since the prequels. It really was, honestly. Overall, it was. I think season 1, if you put it together as a movie, was better than Rogue One. Honestly, even the things I did like about Rogue One, which I have a lot of the Imperials because they're great army builders, the Shore Troopers and the Death Squad and all that. But that notwithstanding, no, The Mandalorian was the best Star Wars we've gotten years and years and years. Over a decade. 15, almost 17 years.
Yep.
I mean, Jesus. So. Yeah, it's and then with the Luke Skywalker thing really saved season 2. And I was on Echo Base that week on Saturday night. They had me as their featured guest. And, I'm like, I marked out for that Luke Skywalker thing because it's like, oh my God, this is like something that you want, wanted to see since you were a kid. And then they give you that member berry and it's like, we got you. And I fell for it for a second. And then it's like,
we all did because that's what we wanted.
Exactly. And this season has been, I mean, Lizzo was in Star Wars, for God's sake.
I saw the clips.
I was watching it with my kid and I'm trying to, not to, but oh my God, it's cringe. Nothing but cringe this season.
Yeah. And that's the thing we were talking about earlier, right? Where you have, a lot of mediocre shows right now on television that seem like they're amazing, Mandalorian being one of them, because everything else has just been so bad. Like, I liked the Mandalorian season 1. I thought it was decent compared to some other stuff, especially season 1, because there's a lot of unknown, right? We didn't know where this person came from. He was a bounty hunter, things we've always wanted to see from Star Wars before. It had that spaghetti Western feel. We didn't know what Grogu was at the time. There's so much unknown and mystery. It's like, yes, finally, we're getting some cool shit. We don't have Rey running around screaming. We don't have, what's his name screaming for Rey. And None of that nonsense.
Finn.
Yeah, just like we don't have any of that. We just a good show, you know. It felt like, and you know, we had our complaints like, yeah, it kind of feels like a video game, right? You got your main mission and you do these little side quests and all that.
Yep.
And then season 2 was falling off, kind of like Rogue, like you were talking about Rogue One. Rogue One's an okay movie, and then you have that ending, and you're like, this is the greatest thing ever. Same thing with Mandalorian season 2. They brought back Luke. We had our hallway scene, and
yep,
there we go. It's the best thing ever. And now with what's going on with 3, because I think I only watched maybe up to season or episode 3 or 4, and I was like, I can't do this, man. This is so bad.
Yeah.
This is so terrible, and it just shows you how all over the place they are with this freaking show. Like, they don't even know. The people that are running Lucasfilm have zero idea what they're doing. They're all over the place. There's no cohesiveness, and they forget this, right? It's not like, I use this example with the upcoming Harry Potter, right? I don't. You've heard that they're rebooting it, and they're making it into a series. I use it like this, at least for people that are against that, right? They're not touching the movies. The movies will exist. They're not editing them. That will be your canon. You can completely disavow this, and it doesn't matter to you. Star Wars is one cohesive, big, giant mess of shit. It's one big bucket. So if you touch one thing, it affects everything. It's a ripple effect.
There's a ripple effect. Yeah.
Yep. So you cannot operate this way, and these people don't understand that, and honestly it's because they don't at the end of the day give a shit, and they know guys like this, as long as you slap Star Wars on it, are going to go buy it and hug it and rub oil all over themselves and lay on it on a carpet. So getting to my point here, if you remember, with The Mandalorian, a lot of people had the problem with Book of Boba Fett, which was another one that did well for my channel. Thank God. Thank you for destroying one of my favorite characters of Star Wars, but hey, it helped the channel out. So, but you had Book of Boba Fett, and we thought that, you know, oh, well, Grogu's back within a matter of weeks, it felt like. But then I want to show this from the guys over at Echo Based Network. I hope they don't care that I'm playing this. This is from one of their videos. If you don't know who Echo Based Network is, please, and you're a Star Wars fan, go check them out. Subscribe to those guys. Great channel. They love Star Wars. They, from my understanding, and they don't like Disney Star Wars. They give everything a shot. They give it a shot, a fair trade. They don't just shit on it. Like, they're pretty fair and straight down the middle. And that's what I do like about their channel. But I want to play this little clip because this is what Jon Favreau said about The Mandalorian season 3, like the time frame from when Grogu was away from Din Djarin.
And then we know that he's been rescued and spent many years with the Mandalorian, went back with Luke. Now we've been 2 years apart from him there training.
A new Star Wars.
All right, so if you didn't see that, Jon Favreau confirms it's been 2 years since The Mandalorian season 2, from season 2 to season 3, right? 2 years. That's what the guy that's created it, running it, says this. Okay, cool, great. Well, this book came out. According to the book Star Wars Timelines, The Mandalorian seasons 1 and 2 and the Book of Boba Fett happened within the same year. It also says it's only been a month, like only a couple months that passed between Din and Grogu's goodbye, which we all assumed because, you know, that's what basically the show showed. It only felt like maybe 2 or 3 weeks. They didn't spend many time with very much time away from it at all. But how do you run a franchise like this? You know what I mean? Like, this is one of the biggest IPs of all time, and you're treating it like a redheaded stepkid that you just want to backhand in the mouth on a Sunday. Like, I just don't understand.
To all the Dave Filoni fans out there, you guys were duped by a goddamn Walmart cowboy. Yeah. I mean, the first time I ever saw him, let me put it this way: the voice I expected to come out of him was not, "Well, hey guys, I'm Dave Filoni." I'm like,
yeah,
what the absolute yellow hell is this? Like, you know, I mean, the guy he's Kathleen Kennedy's little whipping boy. Let's put that right out there. You know, I used to have respect for Favreau because Favreau is the actual architect of the MCU. You know, it's not Kevin Feige. It was Favreau doing Iron Man. And now, I mean, the man is, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And I mean, honestly, this is that. It's like he's mailed it in at this point, and they're just like, whatever. Like the Book of Boba Fett, like the Skittle Scooter gang in that show
Oh my
was,
God. Yeah.
I'm like, who are these little, and it's like they always have these little pissant like teenagers who are showing up like grown ass adults, like the little girl running away, little Leia
Yeah.
running away in the Obi. I'm like, oh my God.
Under the
Why
coat
was
jacket. Yeah. We've talked about that a lot.
why was Obi-Wan off Tatooine? That's a whole nother, but
Yeah.
that's a story for another time. Old butthole eyes Maz Kanata there.
Well, yeah, and the people that listen, I am a fan of certain IPs. I love Star Wars, right? Like I love Ghostbusters,
Yep.
but I will be critical of it if it's garbage. And I don't understand some people out there that are just like that are in this weird like Dave Filoni is the answer and Jon Favreau, and it's like they're giving all the hate to Kathleen Kennedy, which is understandable, right? But we have to. It's not just one person. If you think it's only one person, like there's not a real emperor, guys and gals. Like you have to use your brains here. These people are part of the problem. They sign up. Guess what? If Jon Favreau was really like, hey, this is my story, Kathleen Kennedy's coming in, changing it, quit. I would rather quit and walk away than have somebody destroy something that I want to create. I'm sorry, quit. I don't care about contracts. Quit. Don't do it. You could walk away. They fire people all the time. People leave the job. How many people have quit Star Wars and walked away from Star Wars or been fired from Star Wars? More people have been fired from it than movies they've made. So
Yeah.
But so for them to put all the blame and Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, these people are the saviors. No, they're not. Dave Filoni only cares about his legacy. He wants to be the new George Lucas, and they want to bury the OT into the ground so you forget about it, because everything they push now is all Disney stuff. They want you to forget about the original trilogy as much as possible. That's why you have Disney stands out there now saying literally that the Disney sequels are better than the original trilogies. And it's like, what? How much meth did your mother smoke or eat while she was birthing you? I don't
All of it.
quite get
All of it.
all of it.
Walter White shit.
Well, this kind of proves, this brings up another good point about kind of where shill media is and everything when it comes to Star Wars. So I saw this article for this commercial holiday. And it was hashtag, of course, May the 4th be with you. Star Wars movies ranked from worst to best. Okay. So buckle up, guys, because it's nothing what you think it's going to be. This is Deadline. These are Disney shills that want inside stuff. So just understand what's happening here. So the worst one is Solo. I'll give them that. I wouldn't say it's the worst one, but it's up there. Do you think that's the worst Star Wars movie of all time?
It's the most boring. This is the most boring. I've seen this movie twice, and it is literally the most boring Star Wars movie I have ever seen in my life. Alden Peckerwood is like the most limp-wristed attempt at Han Solo I have ever seen. And he literally has no credits. Like he might have one or two other things under his belt, because I would periodically check his IMDb after this movie came out just to see if he was able to get work after this. And I think he's been in like maybe one or two series and done like a short or maybe one movie, but like barely anything since this came out. And then there's always the Solo 2 is going to I did like a couple of videos about that. I'm like, Solo 2 is not happening. Like there's no Solo 2. That movie lost a ton of money. It was 80% in the can when they brought Opie in to redo it, because he's another Kathleen Kennedy yes man.
So I got to give a quick shout out. Thank you so much for Night Runner for gifting a membership. I greatly appreciate it. I think in order for you to be gifted a membership, because we can't assign them, I think when you're on the channel, right, you have to accept memberships, right? Something in the chat. Like,
yeah.
Do you know? Okay. Yeah, there should be a little button.
Yeah, you can claim it. You claim your gift membership, or like what I had happen was Culture Casino bought like 25 gift memberships, and people that had memberships, if they weren't in the chat, they got re-upped automatically.
Okay.
So when memberships are gifted like that, sometimes they'll default to like past channel members who may have let them lapse.
Gotcha. So it will get out there to somebody at some point. So if you have, if like I said, if you're out here listening and you want a membership there and you have pressed that little button, they should gift it. But Night Rona is always, yeah, as Pop says here, press the green gift box to get a membership. Thank you very much, Night Rona, my friend. I appreciate you supporting the channel as always and doing that. You're beyond what you should be doing, but I greatly appreciate it, my friend. But getting back to this, Solo. Now, I will admit, okay, I'm not going to sit here and say I couldn't watch Solo. I tried. I was like, nope, I'm not watching it. I can't do it. I can't. Even on streaming, I was like, I'm not going to sit here and waste my life. I was definitely not going to the theaters to give them this.
I didn't go to the theater.
Once I heard the woman or the robot rights thing, I was like, no effing way. I was like, no effing way.
L337, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, incidentally, new Indiana Jones, or Indianette Jones, as it were. I'm going to assume her gender.
Let's see. Bobby says real quick, what about David Lindoff making a comment about how he would try again, or like Yoda would say, again, to try to get back in Star Wars? Yoda only believed in do or do not. There is no try. Yeah, I did see that where David Lindoff got fired from the job, and he's like, big simping. He's trying, I'll do anything to be a Star Wars writer. I mean, if you're simping that bad and they still won't hire you, something's got to be wrong.
And
I mean,
Damon Lindelof was involved with the channel is logos based around the Dharma Initiative logo from Lost, which is one of my favorite series.
Yeah,
and he was one half of the creative team on that. Carlton Cuse and Damon Lindelof. And he's never making a Star Wars movie. That's not happening. That ship had sailed, like Rian Johnson's trilogy. They keep bringing that up. Everyone's like, stop it.
It's like, come on, let him be embarrassed by him. But he deserves it though, because he completely destroyed Star Wars. Speaking of Night Rona, my friend, for gifting that, I got to play this, and it's just fitting exactly what you said. So this one's for you, my friend. Story that had no end. I give. Sorry. I love that one so much, man. I absolutely love that. So that's thank you again, as always. I love that freaking video. It's so fitting, like I said, because The Force Awakens was okay, right? It was at the time everyone loved it because it's like, hey, we haven't seen a Star Wars movie in forever. It's something new. We were all excited. We wanted to see what was going to go on with Finn. It was a little questionable, but we were like, all right, hey, maybe they'll work. And then that movie came out, and it literally ripped my heart out of my chest in the theaters. And I was like, never again. Never. I literally walked out of that, and I was like, well, I'm done. I'm done. I was just like, get the no fucking way.
I skipped The Force Awakens. I saw the previews, and I'm like, you know what? J.J. Abrams is involved. I was like, oh God. I'm like, I'm good. I'm going to wait to see how this one plays out. And I didn't go to the theater, and I listened to my coworkers, because the dealership I worked at the time, there was like 8 salesmen, and like 7 of us were like huge Star Wars fans. Yeah. And they were, it's going to be, I'm like, are you sure? Oh, it's going to be, I'm like, so they all would say, oh, it's great. You got to see it. Blah, 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 blah. And one of them was like, yeah, it's kind of like they redid A New Hope. And I'm like,
oh, yeah.
What did you say? Yeah, it's kind of, I'm like, okay, so it comes out on DVD, and I rented it, and I'm like, why wasn't Finn? I was like, why wasn't Finn the main character? He should have been like from the marketing lead up, and then actually seeing the movie, I was like, this shouldn't have been like this. And then I went to see The Last Dumpster Fire in the theater. One of my coworkers, hey, I got tickets. I'm like, nah, I come on, I got the tickets. Just come with me. I'm like, all right. Within 5 minutes that movie starting, I'm sitting there because the Yo Mama jokes and all. I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, looking at him like, you.
When he throws the lightsaber over his shoulder. when Leia flies through space. Yeah,
Leia
Mary
Poppins, yeah.
Poppins. Yep.
Ryan Johnson. The only good thing, and I say this with no reservations. The only good thing I can say about The Last Jedi is visually, it is a stunning movie.
Yeah.
There is a plethora of beautiful visuals, but it's all show and no go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. It's just a pretty window dressing, and inside it is just shit everywhere, smeared on the walls.
All right. So the next one, number 10, they have the Phantom Menace. Well, I know. They have Star Wars Episode 1. So think about this. This is 10 out of all of them. There's no way. You're going to tell me that this is worse than anything Disney has put out? No effing way. Listen, I'm not going to lie. It's not my favorite movie. There's definitely some cringe elements to this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jar Jar Binks, the CGI is pretty rough. I'm not going to sit here and lie. But at the end of the day, right? Yeah.
Misa Jar Jar. Original.
Yeah. Oh, I just found like my Darth Maul and Anakin dual pack or whatever that I never opened. But yeah, I mean, I loved this movie as a kid in theaters. This was the very first Star Wars movie that I got to see in theaters because I was junior high school when this thing came out. So I never got to see any OT in theaters. So this was like, and I grew up though as an OT fan. Like I watched the VHSs till they freaking like were on fire. And then this came out, but this is definitely better than anything that Disney put out. I'm sorry. Like there's no freaking way.
Dude, Qui-Gon Jinn in this.
Yes.
Liam Neeson is freaking incredible. Darth Maul. I was like, oh, did they waste him in that?
Oh movie? Yeah. That whole ending with,
yes, dude, the duel with him and Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan is freaking
Duel
incredible.
Of Fates playing, the music.
Oh, this movie is the foundation to the house. I do. I really like this movie. I like the political aspect of it. I really wish that Disney didn't buy this and we would have gotten what they should have done was start off with Plagueis.
Yes.
I'm like, I've listened to some of the Plagueis novelization and I'm like, my God, is that interesting? Like that book, I was listening to the audiobook. It was great. I'm like, I wanted more of that. And the way it plays into the Phantom Menace story and Palpatine is one of my favorite villains is Palpatine. I mean, he killed his freaking family.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the guy was pure evil from childhood and he knew it. And I'm like, he loathed his father. I'm like, so this movie, like, you know, the Nemodians, say what you will about the Nemodians and their accent, the questionable choice of accents. But, you know, it's a fun movie. And yeah, there are cringe parts. So some of the dialogue is a bit wonky. Yeah, the effects don't hold up as much. But still, I would put this leaps and bounds in quality in terms of that above anything Disney's done.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So after Phantom Menace, then they have Attack of the Clones, which again, I don't agree with. Anything that George Lucas put is better than that Disney has done. So,
dude, Geonosis, Camino. I mean,
I love this scene, man. Like with all the Jedis, like that's the first time we've ever seen that many Jedi running around doing their thing, fighting. Jango Fett getting his head cut off, like that was dope. I mean, there's tons of stuff in here.
Yeah. And it's funny you were talking about how, like, because I'm 43. So I was 19 because Phantom Menace hit theaters in 99, I want to say, because I was working at Meijer at the time. And I don't know, for those of you who live outside the Midwest, Meijer is like, it's like a bigger store. It's like kind of like a Walmart type store, except not as
big. Yeah.
Not as white trashy, you know, or whiskey tango, as we say in coded language. But no, so I worked at Meijer at Hardware, and the toy department was right next to us. And had I been collecting toys, 19 years old, I wasn't collecting toys. You know, I was going to college, I was working, and I was chasing women around, you know, and partying.
Normal,
that's what I was doing at that point. Yeah, you know, and I really wish I would have, and that I went back now and bought most of the run from the Fandom Menace as far as figures go. But because they were so cool, the figures alone from the prequels are freaking amazing. Like I have Rick Ollie, the goddamn pilot from the Naboo cruiser, which those ships, I swear, if I can buy one of those, they're about $400 now for one of those complete, and they're worth every penny. They're huge and they're beautiful.
Oh yeah, the Naboo fighters were so awesome. That's why when the Mandalorian brought it back, I was like, come on, man! Like that thing was it was cool idea and concept. Oh, you're talking about the big Padme,
the big one?
Yeah, the
those are about $400. They make those. They did, but they're gorgeous. If you ever get a chance to see one, they're beautiful.
Oh, we know, Pops. Yeah, they have to stay. Yeah, we know the deadline is once you see the top. You'll understand. You'll definitely understand. Attack of the Clones is yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say. I don't know about
greatest. It's
greatest of all time.
Solid.
But it's definitely solid. Yeah, the prequels, it's solid. That's definitely better than Episode 1 for sure, without a doubt. Again, that's the issue that I have with Episode 1. The kind of pull is because Episode 1 gives us that ending. With, like we already mentioned, with Maul and the Duel of Fates, oh my god, that just hearing that music when it starts gives you chills, right? I mean, you can hear it right now and just like poof, So Star Wars Attack of the Clones is listed at 9, and then we have Revenge of the Sith. We have Revenge of the Sith.
Holy shit!
As the 8th worst movie of Star Wars. Like, what are you talking about?
This is honestly, and this might be a little bit controversial, but this is my third favorite Star Wars movie. Empire is not only my favorite Star Wars movie, it's my favorite fucking movie overall. Empire Strikes Back. I fucking love that movie. And then I have A New Hope second, and then Revenge of the Sith, followed by Return of the Jedi and everything else after that. But
dude, that is a hilarious name. I'm sorry to cut you off. That's a hilarious.
No. It's an odd fetish, but we don't kink shame unless you're a furry around where I come from.
Yeah, hey, more power to you, and thank you for being here, and hope you enjoy the stream. So oh my god, sorry to throw you off. That was hilarious.
No, it's fine. But no, this is a piss poor ranking for this. This movie's Revenge of the Sith is legitimately a great Star Wars movie. It is. And this scene, on Moose, there's so many good scenes in Revenge of the Sith. I mean, the scene with Palpatine killing all the Jedi, which in the novelization is far more brutal. What's his name? Not Plo Koon, Kit Fisto. He gets beheaded. I mean, Palpatine just straight up cuts his head off. I mean, they really undersell. It was difficult for them to do with Ian McDiarmid in the movies to show how fast he was, because they said when he struck, he was a blur of light. Like when he came at him whirling with his saber. So they undersell it. I mean, but I love the movie. This is
I know this is terrible. I heard the novelization is brutal. Like if you're gonna read of any book, like I heard the Revenge of the Sith book is definitely one to read. I mean, just even how that movie opens up, right? Where the fighters start tumbling in, you see them die. That whole scene, like it's so visually beautiful.
And you see Anakin and Obi-Wan, and they're flying with an accompaniment of ARC-170s.
Yeah, that is
is my favorite fucking plane in all of Star Wars is the ARC-170.
Those are dope.
Oh my god, I have one on the shelf back there. I that was like when I bought that, I was like, all the toys come off the shelf and they get played with. That's what they're for. But it's just that is my favorite freaking plane.
It was, and it's really cool seeing all this stuff of where you see like where the X-wings kind of the frames came from, right? You see the evolution of the clone trooper into the stormtrooper armor. That's what I love the most part, is just kind of where things came from and where they came, like that, the origination of it, and seeing how it Order 66. I mean, I wish we could see more of that, obviously. That way
in the Jedi Temple.
Yeah,
That-
just everywhere. It's so awesome seeing that stuff, and that's what we all want more of. And of course, now Disney doesn't know what the hell they're doing. So, but yeah, I mean, to put this 8th on the list of Star Wars is just downright disrespectful, in my opinion.
It is.
And then so here you go 7. Rise of Skywalker is better than Revenge of the Sith.
This movie was a Frankenstein. I saw this in the theater with my mom, and I didn't want to go see this because after Last Jedi, I'm like, I'm done, right? So my mom took me to see Return of the Jedi when I was 3. My
Yep.
mom's health isn't the best. This came out in 2019. We didn't know how much longer she had. She's still kicking though,
Thank
But
God.
yeah, oh yeah. We've had some scares, but she's like, "Hey, will you take me to see this?" I said, "Yeah." So me, her, and my commie sister all went to see this. And she wasn't a full-blown commie then, so we were still talking. And I'm sitting there and I'm driving, right? And we're in I think it was my 300, and mom's in the passenger seat, my sister's in the back, and I'm eating edibles. And she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Mom," I was like, "I've already seen the leaks for this movie. I know how bad it is. I'm going to tell you right now. You're going to hear me cuss a lot during this. I will try to maintain." So we sat in the back of the theater, like dead center,
Yeah.
like pretty much away from there is grown ass men in Jedi costumes with like blade builder lightsabers. I'm like, have some goddamn self. I should have worn my Palpatine mask and be like, "You are an embarrassment, Jedi scum." But we're sitting there, and the movie starts, and I'm just sitting there, and it took me like 10 minutes, and "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like out loud. And my mom's just like, "Oh my God." And I snuck edibles in the theater. I'm just sitting there eating. I'm going, "This is bullshit." Like, I was high as hell, mad. I'm like, I've never been high and angry at the same time.
I still have not seen this movie. I have no desire to see this movie.
Don't.
I never there's just no point. Why?
No.
Like, especially with all the things that I've heard about it, I was like, nah, there's just no way. My movies end after Return of the Jedi. That's it. Like, I don't care about anything after that. They don't exist to me. I don't care. So I have not seen it, but to sit there and put this at 7th, that's just downright disrespectful.
To sum that movie up, they have space horses running on the deck of a Star Destroyer. And they defeat the Star Destroyer with their space horses because they can't just go up. They have to have their navigations. They can't just go up. And they built Star Destroyers under the surface of Exegol, and then they all break through the surface, and it doesn't damage them. But then the space horses and the band of rebels on them are able to destroy their entire I can't.
Yeah. Even how long have they been down there? How do you have employees for this? Like,
I wonder what their 401ks are like working on Exegol. Like, what kind of benefits are they unionized? Are they going to go on strike? What's happening here?
They're all a bunch of little Babu Fricks running around.
Hey! That was the best part of the movie.
I heard, yeah, I know, and I just had to watch the people were telling me about it. I had to watch on YouTube to know because I refuse to see it.
I have that gif of him just popping up and going, "Hey!" I'm like, that's the best part of it right there. The end. You could have just rolled the credits.
So number 6, Rogue One. They're sitting here saying that Rogue One is better than anything prequels. I mean, again, I thought Rogue One was a decent movie, but to sit there and put it before Darth Maul in episode 1, this pod racing. No. This movie is only as good as it is because of the ending. The other parts, like I said, it's a decent movie. It's bearable to watch, but without that ending, it's not even nearly. There's no hype for it at all. It's just So I don't know.
Felicity Jones, that's her name. Felicity Jones.
So
Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Number 5 is Return of the Jedi. Number 5 is Return of the Jedi. So that's the 5th best Star Wars movie of all time, according to Deadline.
Is it though? Is it though? Like, come on. Wait till you see.
Man. So here, 4 Force Awakens. So The Force Awakens is better than Return of the Jedi. Oh my God. I couldn't even tell you the last time I saw Force Awakens. All right, it gets better. Ready? Number 3. The third best Star Wars movie of all time, according to Deadline, is The Last Jedi. I mean,
What the?
At this point, they're just shitting on people, right? They have to be.
This is it. This is Hollywood insiders. This is, that's what it is. It's like, hey, Disney, look, they're Barry Horowitz, for those of you who are wrestling fans, doing this right now, patting themselves on the back. Careful you don't break your arm jerking yourself off here at Deadline. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah. Hey, don't forget to give us these scoops when you get stuff, because we shilled for your trash.
Yeah.
All right. So second best. They didn't even get this right. The second best one is Empire Strikes Back. Look, I love A New Hope. Okay. I do. I would reverse that. I would obviously have Empire Strikes Back and then A New Hope. But to have, I mean, come on. Who even wrote this? That doesn't matter. I don't know his fucking name. I wouldn't even know their name. I want to see if there's.
It is.
Let's see the comments.
From Douchebagistan.
Let's see. Chris Lod. I'm a Star Wars fan and a Rian Johnson fan, so I'm not just trolling when I say that The Last Jedi is the worst Star Wars movie by a country mile. Oh my God. Anonymous. Nah. Empire Strikes Back. A New Hope. See? Even they know. Right? After that, it's just a big mess of bad movies. I wouldn't say Rogue One's better than the prequels. That's a little.
No.
Other than swapping Rogue One and Last Jedi, it seems pretty good to me. Joanne, you're an idiot. Sorry. Your opinion's not valid. You think The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi are better than Return of the Jedi? What? Has anyone ever thought this in human history? This list is actually offensive. There's wrong, and then there's this.
At least the comments are based as hell.
Oh, I know.
Like, for the majority of the comments are based. So,
well, I think that's it. There aren't many other comments, but yeah, I just thought this was worth reviewing, and I guess let's see.
Oh yeah.
Scott Schill. Oh, that's perfect.
Shilston.
Shilston.
Oh God.
Yes. So a literal shill wrote this. So pretty fitting.
Oh, this is
And then we got some good news to come out of today. Figured I would share this. Carrie Fisher gets a Walk of Fame star on the commercial Star Wars Day, May the 4th. Now, I did hear in honor of her, they did sprinkle some Coke all over the star. So
Harrison Ford came and rubbed his junk all over it.
No,
remember when I used to do this, Carrie? Remember?
Her kid hit a line off the star on the floor with a rolled up 20.
He sees her daughter. He's like, you know what I used to do to your mother? She was only a teenager. It was like I'd take a break from the Wookiee and I'd go see your mother.
I might actually be your real father.
She grabbed me and I was like, that's not how the Force works.
Oh my God. Hey, before I continue on, so we're going to wrap up the Star Wars stuff. We are going to get to the juicy topic of tonight's stuff in just a second. But before I do, for all of you that are here, if you could, you need to go ahead and go to this gentleman's channel and subscribe. He needs all the support you can get. If you want to give everyone an update on what happened to your channel there. Actually, you know what? Here's a good chance real quick. Tell everyone, for those who don't know your channel, what you do and what you cover. Pretty close to what I do, right? Cover news and videos and whatnot. But give everyone a rundown of what you currently do and then the state of your channel, because I know some people here have dealt with the same thing.
Yeah. Eteplequeen of the Eteplequeen's the place to be reviews. We do weekly live streams Monday night, Wednesday night, Saturday night. But wait, there's more. Now 4 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday and Friday, we have the place to be reviews live, which is a half-hour morning show where I just give you a half hour's worth of news, about 3 to 4 stories, my thoughts and just the facts on them, and we take it home. I do movie reviews and television reviews as well. I was producing daily news videos up to like sometimes 10 to 12 a week. I've kind of backed away from that. I was doing more of the shorts, which leads me to where I am now. My channel has been monetized since January of 2022, and I was demonetized yesterday afternoon. YouTube emailed me and said, hey, your channel's no longer a member of the partner program. You're demonetized for your shorts. Now I have to I can't start the appeal process until June. I carry around 60 to 65 channel members. So all my channel members now are emailing me what happened. And I'm explaining things to them. Last night on our Holy Shit News stream, which is our Wednesday night show. Monday night, we have Going in Raw. And Saturday night, we have Saturday night's Main Event, which is our open forum. Kind of just, we do watch parties, fun stuff. But no, so I'm in the process. I have to take down, I got 60,000 views last month and gained like 130, 120, anywhere from 126, 130 subs. Channels never really had a boom like that. Of course, I finally, after 4 years, I've been doing this over 4 years now, I get a boom from doing what YouTube is pushing, our shorts, and then all of a sudden demonetized. I'm like, okay. So now, like I said, starting the appeal process back, I'm going to start a subscribe star so my channel members can kind of migrate over there and still support the channel during, it'll be one tier, which I do. My memberships are $2.99 and $4.99 a month. We have the Kazooian tier, which you literally get a, hang on a second. You get a kazoo, which has my channel.
Yeah, I remember this.
A channel logo. Hang on, I'll take them out of the bag here. I have more, but these are just some of them here. They have the channel logo on them, which is Dharma Initiative from Lost. And I sent you one of my trading cards. I'm a former professional wrestler. I was on the independent scene for 10 years. I have my name was Pete Daddy Dollar, and that is I have my trading cards. I have a stack of those left. And if you don't want the trading card for anything else, I can send you a stack of them. You can use them to prop up table legs. Very handy around the house. Little duct tape on there. Perfect wedge. Your table's no longer off kilter. So yeah, I do comedy skits as well, if you couldn't tell. I do impressions, and I'm producing one with my editor, Good Stuff. And I do a Soviet communist news. It's called the Communist United News Transmission Service, CUNTS. And my Russian cousin, his name is Yuri Grabovich, and he is the anchor at Konz News. And we're currently producing a skit based on the Indiana, Delaware County in Indiana. Ryan Webb, who recently came out, is a transracial, transgender woman of color. And it is a brilliant troll job by him. So we're doing a special report on that. There's a playlist on my channel. I've got 3 videos on there from him. But yeah, Yuri has talked about the raid on Mar-a-Lago, Brittany Griner, and he covered not Boris Yeltsin, Mikhail Gorbachev's funeral. So I've got those, and I review movies as Cleveland Brown. Also, one of my favorite impressions to do is Cleveland Brown from Family Guy. So I've reviewed all the new Halloween movies, which I hated with a burning passion. Oh, David Gordon Green, if I'm ever alone with you in an alley, you're going to be afraid of this black man from Stool Bend, Virginia. Yeah, so I do. And the one movie I've done as Cleveland that I love is Avenging Force. And if you're familiar with Canon Films and Michael Dudikoff and Steve James, oddly enough, Michael Dudikoff was supposed to play Spider-Man for Canon Films in the 80s, but they went bankrupt too soon. He-Man and Masters of the Universe must have bankrupted them. But no, so yeah, that's just a slight overview in my rambling pitch. And also, if you're interested in becoming a member of the order, you can purchase a new Wakuian Order t-shirt from me for $15 plus shipping. They're great quality material. These are locally printed. And we also have a Teespring store where we have our Monday night Going in Raw merchandise, no protection required, hoodies, tank tops, Place to Be Reviews logo. We have an Egyptian logo because I had a dedicated troll who swore to God that I was Egyptian and not white. He commented, he goes, "Stop pretending to be white." I'm like, it's Etep, Emo, Hotep. What? I mean, I don't know. But yeah, so come on over, subscribe if you want. It's free. It always will be. And like I said, channel memberships will be back up soon and everything like that. But if people want to support us, you can come over to Subscribe Star. And we're going to start doing game streams pretty soon. Me and Tony, Tony, my
Yeah, I know
co-host.
Tony. Yep.
And our wives were there. We all play Mario Kart. So we got on the Switch last weekend and we were playing Mario Kart together. And Draven's going to join us. We're going to do it. We're going to make sure the show is only 90 minutes again this Saturday so we can get out and play Mario Kart after. But we're going to start streaming it pretty soon. So that and Friday the 13th as well, which is my another passion. I have a second channel called Camp Crystal Lake, which I haven't uploaded a video in like 2 months. But I do. I used to work in radio and I was a professional wrestling ring announcer and color commentator. That's how I started. And I do my horror voice for those videos, for the voiceovers and stuff like that. So I have true horror stories I've gathered from Reddit. A couple, one of my channel members and subscribers actually sent a personal experience he had in a hospital room which was fucking terrifying. But yeah, that's Camp Crystal Lake. You can check that out. And links are all on the main channel on the About section. But yeah, it's like I said, we have fun. We have an eclectic mix of guests on, and like you were talking about, Echo Base. Nick and Coach have been on multiple times. We'll get the world-class bullshitters who I don't just say that because they're a great YouTube channel. I'm personally friends with all of them off YouTube. They're great guys. The Fandom Collective, I can't say enough good about them.
Yeah.
I'm a member of the FC team.
Yep.
So we try to promote and I didn't have really much growth until I got, and when I got at them first, they started talking to me like, we want you to just join our actual team. I'm like, okay. So I've been with a Phantom Collective for like 3.5 years now. Flip, Rookie, Fanzine, Fallon.
Yeah. Fanzine's good.
They're amazing people. And YouTube is a very fickle mistress, and there's a lot of clicks out there. And the best thing I can say is I've in the past 4 years, I've been able to build a circle of good people, and I've weeded out a lot of trash along the way to get where I am, to the small level I've gotten to. And it's been fun. And what I haven't had in growth, I've built meaningful relationships. I've hung out with like Draven and Superfan. Superfan he's driven to my house multiple times. Nelson the Psychopath, one of my channel members, is getting ready to do my very first tattoo next weekend. The bullshitters, I've hung out with them. These are great, good, awesome people. Justin Proper. YouTube is a cool place. You can meet a lot. There is good people out there.
Yeah, I did a video with Pops on his channel where he interviewed me, kind of like, what's your story, kind of why I got into all this, right? And I mentioned, like, that's one good thing about YouTube is that you do meet a lot of good people. There obviously are the other side of the coin, right? And you got some really shitty people, but that's life in general. So you just gotta kind of have to navigate that and weed them out, and then you find the good ones, you stick together and you enjoy it and you have fun doing all this down the same road, covering the same things. But I'm glad your channel, hopefully, I mean, it will. It's just going to take some time. We'll get all that nonsense taken care of. That's why I don't mess with shorts that much. I know it probably hurts me really bad, but I'm not gonna mess with it right now just because
it's not worth it. It's really not, honestly. Like I love the growth I got. Hail Soul Assassin. Soul Assassin's the man. But yeah, it's the shorts, like I said, man, the number of subscribers and views I got off there, like, I mean, my most viewed video ever is Pixar Moms the Dump Truck Asses, and that's at like 58,000 views. I mean, I got 60,000 in the last month.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
But YouTube, here we go. It's like, oh, you're having a modicum of success and you're not one of our approved creators. Well, guess what? We're going to take that rug and just right there you go. And same thing happened to Mr. Grant Gregory, a good friend of mine too. You know, he's like, his channel went from like a couple hundred to like 20,000 or something like that. I mean, 18,000, and he was views, and then it was all the shorts, and then they just kick it off, you know. So what up, another monster?
So that's actually kind of perfect segue into this last category of Matt Walsh technically versus the internet is the best way that I explain it. And we talked a little bit backstage where you're familiar with the situation where Matt Walsh had a pretty hot take from what a lot of people say. And in a nutshell, and correct me if I'm wrong or if I'm not, because it went on and went on and on. And it was I don't have his exact video of what Matt Walsh was saying, but essentially I have a little bit I'm going to pull up here in just a minute. But essentially, he has come out and he has said a couple of things about like how video games are technically not good for children, movies and that type of media is harmful to children. And it's just basically childish. I know he said something also about like, he was just giving his opinion on this, that anime is demonic, I think. Maybe something along that lines of something of anime where it's not it's just pretty much he has like some type of demonic thing to it. Now, I don't agree with everything that Matt Walsh says, okay? Obviously, if that's his opinion about anime, I don't care. Like, that's just his opinion. He didn't say, or he said something too, like, I think yoga is demonic or has demonic tendencies or where yoga comes from and stems from. I don't know. I've never looked into it, so I don't know. I don't agree with him. But hey, to each his own, right? That's the beauty of YouTube and all this. Yeah, Soul Assassin say something about same thing with comic books, like they're childish or they're demonic or they can lead to things of that nature, anime, irregular comics too. And that's his opinion. He's entitled to it, right? Of course, as I call him, Fat Q, known as the Quartering, chimed in, like he always does, because he likes to pick fights with other content creators to try to get as much notoriety as possible to be relevant. As you can tell, I'm not the biggest fan of the Quartering. I don't mind his content. I have a problem with his character more than anything. But so he went on this whole tyrant, and him and Matt Walsh were going back and forth. And then Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers chimed in. And I want to play his take on what was said because I find it a little interesting. So I'm going to pull this up really quick. Let me share this. And I want to know what your thoughts are about the video game aspect. And then I'm going to give you my thoughts on this comment here. So let me, that way I can pull this. Sorry, boomer moments. Here we go. All right, so Geeks and Gamer or D-Day Cobra from Geeks and Gamers said this just the other day. Let me know if you can hear this okay.
It's at some point in time, like, as long as it's not actively detrimental, and there is no proof, okay? There is no proof that kids watching TV all day or playing video games all day is detrimental to them in isolation. What is proving to be detrimental to them is bad parenting. If a parent is allowing their child to play video games all day long without any supervision, taking the child away from the video game isn't going to help the situation. That's only going to make it worse. If anything, video games have probably helped more children that have bad parents than anything, because at least it gives them a central focus thing and keeps them out of trouble. But you still have the bad parent. The bad parent doesn't get cured by taking the video game away from the kid. The bad parent still exists. So if anything, the video game is a far better thing to have in that equation than not have at all. You still have the bad parent. The bad parent is still the problem, not the fucking video game. That's why it's such a stupid argument to have. Jesus Christ, it's such a dumb thing to say. If anything, the video game is a positive in that situation.
Now, there's a lot to take in. And it's not a one kind of be-all, take-all comment, because there were some things in that comment or that spiel that I agree with. Mm-hmm. And then there are some that I'm like, you're completely off target here. And I don't agree with you. So, like I said, there's a lot to digest there. If you want to give your thoughts, or I can give you mine and let you digest it more, whichever.
I'll start. I first have to say, we talked about this. We still have the Geeks and Gamers logo up there. We're in no way affiliated with Geeks and Gamers. As far as I'm concerned, stop Asian hate.
That is perfect. And I know there's some people out there that are watching this that have no idea what the hell that was. But if you know, you know.
You know, and we beat that drum a lot on my show. But no, in all seriousness, I'm not a big Geeks and Gamers fan. I'm not a big Jeremy Griggs fan. I'm not. I used to be, but I caught on to what was going. I'm like, no, I don't. So
I get it.
But there are some things here that he's right on, and as a number one, a parent, number two, I teach school. I substitute, but I'm a regular sub, so I'm in the classroom a lot, and there are a lot of shitty parents out there. There are, and I see kids that come from homes like that. Even at the private school I'm at, I see kids come from homes that might not completely like horrible, but not the best situation for a child's learning to be able to flourish. And so for them to have an escape away from maybe a bad parent, a tough family situation, like a video game or comic books or a show or movie that they're into, some kind of franchise that they really immerse themselves in as a mental escape. Because when you get into situations like that, you need a something to take your mind off that. You need that form. That's when you need escapism the most.
Mm-hmm.
So I do agree with him in that respect. But at the same time, as like I said, the parent in me, having a 7.5-year-old who has had a tablet for a very long time, but I have always limited his screen time. The only time he gets it for any extended period of time is if like it's a lazy day, we're not doing anything, and it's like, dude, if you want to like play on your tablet and lay in bed if you're tired, that's cool. I'm fine with that. But don't expect to do it all the time. And he doesn't. And he knows because he's had it taken away. He has a Nintendo Switch. Now, he would much rather do other things than play his Switch. But there's days where it's like, hey, bud, do you want to go play some Mario Kart, or do you want to play Minecraft or whatever, what have you? You limit it, you monitor it, and it's fine. Does he know what Grand Theft Auto is? Yeah. Will I play Grand Theft Auto with him? No. I was toying with the idea of me and him playing Friday the 13th together. He's seen all the movies already. Literally, it's 7.5. But playing the video game, I'm like, maybe not yet. But I don't think that video games are going to lead my son to be a violent criminal. No.
Oh, exactly.
I think, but this. So I'm 50-50 with what Jeremy said. Like I said, I don't.
Now
here's
you're fine. You're spot on, because I'm right there with you, right? Like, bad parenting is literally the result of 90%. I would say at least 90% of the issues that kids have. It's lack of parenting or just plain bad parenting. You can have kids where I grew up playing Grand Theft Auto, like GR says here, right? Like, his kid loves wrestling, but I make sure him and his friends aren't performing these feats in real life, right? Me and my brother would literally, when my mom and dad weren't paying attention, we did perform those feats. We were body slamming each other like we should, and my parents paid attention to us. We got our asses whooped, but, I knew like I could play Grand Theft Auto, but because of good parenting, I shouldn't go outside and go steal a car. I shouldn't do the stupidity. So bad parenting is a major cause of all of it. But just like anything else, moderation is key to anything. You can't have a kid play stick a thing in his face all day long and play video games. There are some positive video games. We talked about that where, because a lot of video games, like if you play Zelda, I think there's puzzles, right? Like it gets your brain moving. There are positives. The issue is that he went on this whole big rant. Okay, this whole thing about video games. I'm going to share this tab to where this doesn't really make sense then in regards to why he has beef with Matt Walsh. Okay, so if you could see this,
Yeah.
hopefully you guys can. This is what Matt Walsh said. So he's quote tweeting what D-Day Cobra said, screen-based entertainment is bad. Stop playing video games is what he claimed Matt Walsh said. And then he was making fun of Matt Walsh saying, keep watching my YouTube channel that it gets 40 million views per month. So Matt Walsh responded and said, we should not let our children's lives revolve entirely around screens. So you're saying all screen-based entertainment is always bad for everyone all the time, you hypocrite. Do you see how this got blown out of proportion? I 100% agree with Matt Walsh. Yes, you should limit screen time of anything of your children, whether it be watching on YouTube. Honestly, you shouldn't let your kids watch YouTube because there's a lot of bad shit on there. But anything that you let them watch, there should be limits to, or you should be monitoring it, or you should put time, make them read books, make them do other things, but everything in moderation. To sit there and say that they could just play 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that's not a good take. That's, because there's a lot of kids that turn into, they don't play sports, they don't get active, they're just playing video games. I mean, how many kids, I know the world's a little bit different when we were kids, but who plays outside anymore? Who goes and does, like, everyone wants to play Call of Duty. They want to play Fortnite. They want to sit in their rooms and they don't want to go anywhere. They don't want to do anything. They're not out in the sun. They're not exercising. They're eating a ton of junk food and trash. So I grew up on video games. I grew up on Nintendo, Super Nintendo, 64, right? Like, everything in moderation is key. But I was also outside. My parents said, nope, you're going outside and you're playing with your friends. You're going outside and you're doing this. And they watched us. It's not like we were out running the streets being little degenerates in Brooklyn. Like, my parents were out. Hey, you don't go past that light pole. You don't go past here. We'll be out, and they're out there watching. So I believe it's moderation is key, right? And I think, honestly, this situation and this kind of response video was blown out of proportion because that's not really what Matt Walsh said. Matt Walsh said you should be more involved in your child's life. There's more to video games than stick them in front of a screen and have them just learn more life skills and whatnot. Because, like I said, how many kids anymore that really read books? I know tons that won't read even like Diary of a Wimpy Kid book, and that's a damn comic book for the most part.
That's another thing. Like, I make, I make my kid, he reads, like, I was like, hey, you got to read an hour a day.
Yeah.
And he does. He reads an hour a day, and then, like, me and my wife take turns reading to him at night. And, he reads, like, he likes, like, graphic novel type stuff. So, like, regular books. I mean, there's these, like, American Chillers books, and I read him, like, the Goosebumps. He loves the
I
R.L.
love
Stein
old
stuff.
Goosebumps.
So, and that's, like, as a parent, like, you have to impart that on your child, like, the importance of that. Like, he's asking me to teach him how to write cursive because they're kind of starting to learn it in school. Hey, can I work on this extra at home? I'm like, yeah, yeah, bud, you can. And it's, this with Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh, to me, like, I'm not the biggest fan of him because he's kind of a neocon.
Mm-hmm.
And
No, I'm same way. I
don't like the neocon. I'm a libertarian. Like, that's I'm open about that. I'm a libertarian. I have views that go to the left and to the right, though, on some things.
I'm down the middle, man. Like, if it makes sense, it makes sense. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
It's common sense shit.
Yes.
And this, to me, this is all blown out of proportion. Like, I don't agree with, they're satanic and all that shit. Like, is there bad intentioned entertainment out there in media? Yes, absolutely, there is. But I for the most part, comic books, video games, it's consumable media. It's fairly harmless in moderation. Like you said, it's key moderation. Yeah, I was the same way. I got my NES in like 1986. Legend of Zelda was my shit, man. I played that game. Me and my mom played that game together forever. Sega Genesis, N64, PlayStation 2. And then I didn't buy a console after PlayStation 2 until We got until Santa Claus brought my son Switch this year, you know? So, I mean, I'm not the biggest game. Like I always played like old games. Like I still play like NFL, Madden 2011. I'm playing my N64 from high school still, and I'm 43.
Yep.
It still works. I play No Mercy. I play GoldenEye, shit like that.
I just got No Mercy again. I love that game.
Dude. I have, 11 or 12 controllers and 2 game packs with creator wrestlers. I created WCW's roster from 95 to 01.
That's insane.
Yeah, but to get back to this, I'm sorry to veer off topic. Well, it's not a video game topic, but no, this whole thing's blown out of proportion. And Jeremy from the Quartering, yeah, I subscribe to Jeremy. I've followed him for a long time. I don't agree with him all the time. He's had some bad takes, like I see. But he's very milquetoast at times too. The only time he ever really lashes out is if somebody like says something that crosses him personally, and that's what happened. That's what
he's
happened.
He's a fence
here.
rider, and that's what I have an issue with more of him.
He's like Tim Pool.
Yes,
he's like Tim Pool.
That's the biggest issues I have with them. And getting back to again, like with this situation, right? Like I did also hear part of their conversations where they were all going back and forth. I know the Quartering. And they were saying that like video games and movies and whatnot have not had an effect on people when it comes to like violence, right? And I 100% disagree. And what I mean by that is, I know probably people are like, whoa. What I mean by that is people are desensitized due to movies, video games, any type of media. And I'm not saying that that's technically that we should ban it. I don't think that at all. But there's literally, I showed you this before. There's a book. I read this a long time ago. It's called, here, I'm going to get rid of this because I can stop sharing this now. It's called On Killing. It's the psychological killing of combat. I've read it twice. I read it once in the Marine Corps, and I read it after. Your dad wasn't he a Marine and prior law enforcement?
Yeah,
he's
the
sure.
Non-vet in undercover narcotics, and he was the Ram man. He used to bust through the doors.
Yeah. So, when it's interesting when you work in those types of fields and you see really bad things. This whole subject, the whole last chapter of this book, basically shows you. Here, I'll read this little excerpt real quick. It says, here you go. Colonel Grossman's perspective study ends with the profoundly troubling observation: the desensitizing techniques used to train soldiers are now found in mass media, films, television, and video games, and are conditioning our children. His figures on youthful homicide strongly suggest the breeding of teenage Rambos. And they're not wrong. I mean, video games train you, shoot them in the head. You get most points that way. Like, there's a point to it. The Army came up with that. Remember that free video game? I don't remember if you came out with it. Was like they were trying to combat with Call of Duty, and it was a recruitment tool. This was back in probably 2005. It was like when first-person shooters were really getting big on the PC, and it was free. And it's obviously they use this stuff to desensitize you. When you see stuff in movies and then you see it in real life, you go, huh, kind of looks the same. Or real life is like, oh, it's actually not as bad as I saw it in the movie, because it's sometimes a bullet with sometimes getting shot in real life or seeing a victim who's been shot is not the same as like John Wick sometimes, right? It's not even close.
No.
So there is a level of desensitization there. And I would even say the internet. I mean, you remember back in the day when internet first came out. Now, like, I don't know if you remember, ever seen a website called rotten.com? Do you remember that? Yeah.
Yes, I do.
You can literally see, and there's a ton of other websites out there, anything you wanted to. You can go and see beheadings. You could see anything. You could see that stuff. So, like, to sit there and say that, kids having access to this, because I remember I didn't have access to this at 6, right? Like, you don't have free. If I saw the stuff that I saw at 15 at 6, that's a different story. That's a different story. So, and I mean, if you look at society today, is there not like a desensitized level of violence where it's very normalized, where people are like, look at what's going on with, the Ukraine war. Like, you see, listen, even Iraq war back in the day when people are getting their slaughtered, like people are still dying, whether they're on the other side or not. This is still life. You know what I mean? So it does desensitize you. To sit there and say it doesn't is just wrong. It's not accurate. But
yeah, I agree, and it's funny because like as a kid, I remember like I saw Full Metal Jacket and RoboCop by the time I was 8 years old, and I used to think that, that as a kid, Terminator, stuff like that growing up. Like I said, I was born in 1980. So seeing all these movies, I saw, Friday the 13th movies, all that, that's why I show them to my son. I'm like, and I make sure he knows, look, this is make believe. These are actors. They're playing as I explained to it, like when I was wrestling, I'm like, it's acting. That's basically what we're doing. I was like, Daddy was basically an underpaid stunt man.
yeah.
So I'm like, these guys, Jason, I was like, he's Jason Voorhees, for example. But yeah, he's killing all these people. But I was like, it's all special effects. I was like, the blood is corn syrup. I was like, it's not real. And he's like, what? I'm like, explain it to him. It's like, oh, okay. So as a kid, I thought this shit was cool. My dad, his ex-partner from the police department was the head evidence tech for the DPD. And so I was friends with his kids. They came up to stay with us for summer. He brings up homicide photos to show me what the real effects of this were at 8 years old. So seeing gunshot victims, a woman who was brutalized by a gang of bikers and then run over. I mean,
the worst of the worst.
Yeah, and they're showing me this going like, this is what really happens. This is what it looks like when somebody dies or is killed by somebody else, and there's something. And I'm just like,
yeah. And I mean, the point of all this is why I bring this up. It's just like there's like we judge the left about tribalism. That's what I feel like happened. It's like Matt Walsh was fighting with the quartering, and you have someone else that chimed in because their pal was getting ganged up on, and they just ran full left. Like there is a middle ground in all this. I don't agree with Matt Walsh, and probably I would say over 50% of what he says. Some of it I definitely do. This situation, yes, children should be exposed to more things in life, especially why can't they could play video games later? They don't have to do it at 5, 6, 7. If you have a good, play board games, read books, do creative stuff, get their brain moving. Video games aren't going anywhere. Let them have access to that later. I understand what he's saying. He's not and even if he does demonize it all, he's one man. Who gives a shit? It's his opinion. Like he doesn't speak for everybody. And you know what? If he says something and 1,000 people want to blindly believe him, okay, is that going to affect video game sales? No, it's not like Hogwarts is going to stop selling because Matt Walsh says video games are bad. Just like weren't they when Hogwarts or Harry Potter first came out, they were demonizing it because it was witches and wizards. It's not religious. That didn't go anywhere, right? It's like you can't have an opinion. You have to get attacked for it. And that's the same thing that but a lot of people on the right side of the aisle say about the left. But then when I see the same type of behavior, I can't not talk about it. It really annoys me, especially mainly coming from someone like the quartering who just rides the fence on everything. He has no backbone. And depending on what it is, like, he's all about Dylan I don't want to say the guy's name because it'll automatically get the Bud Light guy. He'll say bad things about them. But then what's the other dude that the conservatives love so much?
Blair
White, that guy, right? They all support that one. It's like, why? What do you know? It's not how that works. It's very strange. It's very weird.
With the dichotomy between those two is interesting. And I think it is. I think the main reason that the right tends to support Blair White and Caitlyn Jenner is because they're fairly open. Like Blair White, I didn't even know who that was before like a year or two ago. I had no idea, and it's because she whatever is not like, you have to accept me. He's pretty like, look, I know I'm not a woman, but this is how I felt on the inside, and this is how I am now. And I know I'm not a biological woman. And I think that's why the right is so quick to support Blair,
Mhm.
is because of the stance that they take. I'm not going to refer to him as he or she, I'll just say they.
Yeah.
Is the stance that they take. Whereas on the other side with Mulrooney, you have the "you're gonna accept me or you're a bigot," and it's like, whoa, first of all, you're a grifter.
Yep.
This is, if you've seen, did you see the Price is Right
Oh,
video
yes.
with it?
The Ellen video.
Yep.
He was Book of Mormon. He was an actor on Book of
Yes.
Mormon. So it's just all facade, and he's just
It-
doing it because, hey, this is his way to fame. He found it.
Yep.
This is the money train, and he's jumped on board. The issue that I have with it from the perspective side is like, we're in this boat right now because we've allowed there's no line in the sand, right? Because like you have guys like Blair White, like, oh, it's fine. I'm not trying to push this on you or anything. And then you got one that's going to say, well, I'm not pushing anything, but I want to use the girls' bathroom. I'm not pushing
Yeah.
anything, but I want to change in the girls' locker. Like, it's always that line, right? So where
Yep.
do you draw the line in the sand, right? Where it's like, well, I look at it this way. If you commit, fully commit, I mean, chop suey commit.
Yep.
You want to go use that bathroom at that point? Fine. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
But if you don't commit fully, well,
Yep.
then you're stuck in our bathroom.
And
Not that I want my bathroom, but
oh, it's weird. And this isn't a new thing, it's been around, but it's still such a small percentage of the population. The way they would have you believe it, like it's
it's
60%
like,
of the
yeah,
population. It's like, what's it, like 1 point, it's like 1%
yep,
maybe
if
that
that.
identifies as trans. Well, the entire, like the alphabet population is only like 4 or 5%.
Yeah, I call them the LGT or HGTV community.
It's just the alphabet mafia. I got kicked off Twitter. I got kicked off Twitter for a week for saying, well, it's just LGB and the rest is mental illness.
Oh yeah, you can't even say those names in the same those
No,
terms in the same
no,
sentence
because
at all.
it's the truth.
Yeah.
So it's got to be
Oh,
censored. But no, I just, the whole thing, it's vexed. The whole thing is just vexing to me. They just, if they took the Blair White approach, everything would be just fine. Like you said, fully commit to it, and you go ahead and you use that bathroom.
oh
Once
yeah,
you've
and
mutilated yourself, there ain't no going back from that.
yeah, and that's the
There's
thing. Like,
not.
no one's had issues. I mean, it's not like drag queens that's all been around for years. No
Yep.
one's cared. No one gives it, because look, you're in your space. You're in your, just like
Yeah.
it's like live and let live. Leave me,
Yes.
live your life. Go over there.
That's a libertarian principle.
Once you start interrupting with my life and you start wanting to change my culture because
Yep.
you're offended or you don't feel good, no, I don't care. Then now there's the line in the sand. Once you try to force me to do something, well, now it's too late. You can't go back. And that was the same. And again, that's why I don't really agree with Matt Walsh on a lot of things, because he's very, like, oh, nope, it's got to be this way. And then it's like, nah, you can't. Nothing's that simple. Just like this whole situation with the video games, right? There's not that simple. There's some of them made good points, some of them made other good points, and they have to, if they just use common sense and they weren't so tribal about it, right? Where it's like, my team has to be right, your team has to be wrong. They would have met in the middle and they would have been okay. Like, there's an understanding there. But again, it's more for clicks and clout, and subscribe to my YouTube channel and watch my live stream and all that stuff. So it's just, it was interesting. It was worth bringing up, just because, it's part of the YouTube sphere. I guess it's YouTube sphere that I don't care for, because again, I am all about calling out the left and the stupidity there, but I will absolutely call out. I'd rather call out our own side first before I call out, because it's like, you can't really can't really lead the way and say you want change if you act kind of the same way. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's just very, and I
Yep.
think like people like the quartering are the worst of it, because again, he's like, oh, I'm not right wing, but then he'll have a right wing take the next day, you know, or he's very pushing it or whatever. Or he changes his mind, or he tweets 1,000 times and then deletes them all because he's scared or he's drunk or whatever the case is. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was, worth bringing up. And again, yeah, I think both made very valid points. And again, moderation, just with anything, the alcohol, media. Like I said, I think, how do you handle Twitter? I can't be on it all the time. It literally starts to drag me down. I'm like, I got to get away.
I muted all those Democratic operatives like Brooklyn Dad Defiant.
Oh,
and
dude, you rip that guy apart all the time.
I eviscerated him on a daily basis for like months straight. Like, I mean, I have a whole folder of memes I made of that guy. But yeah, him and the Krasenstein twins, those two brainlets, all these new little like Harry Sisson and these little like Gen Zers that are they're little operatives now. Dash Dabrowski's got 2 teeth like a beaver.
Did you see that video from the Tim Dillon show where he's like, don't clip that, when he had those 2 operatives on?
No.
Oh my God. I got to try to find it real quick. So
No,
those 2 little operatives, you know, the new kids now.
Yep. It's Sisson, and I can't remember the other kid's name, but I've memed the shit out of them too. They're ridiculous. I just put clown wigs on them because it fits. Yeah, the one kid's always yelling in the camera. It's like, dude, stop taking so much Adderall.
Yeah, so I wish I had pulled this up already because I want to try to find the video, but he was on the Tim Dillon show, both of those 2 little operatives, and they were talking about how the Democratic Party is trash, right? Like, but they're trying to bridge the gap, right? And he's like, I don't agree with everything in the Democratic Party. There's a lot of trash in there. He's like, but I got to vote for him either way. And Tim Dillon's like, can we clip that? And he's like, oh, no, please don't clip that. Please don't clip. I mean, it's fucking hilarious, but that's exactly the problem.
Shit.
It's like, they know that their own party is trash, but hey, we have to vote this way because we can't vote the opposite side because God forbid we do that. God, I wish I could find that.
And that's the thing is you got, oh no, we had mean tweets, but we had good 401ks. We were secure as a nation.
Oh, here, I found it.
You got it. But God, we didn't have mean tweets, you know.
Oh, I know.
Thank God.
So here, listen to these 2 little ass clowns real quick.
To record a video, keep people's attention. And a lot of the people on our side, like if they start hearing, like I've actually done it before. I've criticized like Democrats, like specifically Hakeem Jeffries, and it all just went south. Like I started losing followers. Like it's bad, right? And I really want to be that person that like reaches the other side, because Democrats, I mean, they're horrible at their jobs, right? They do a lot of shitty things, although I'll vote for them all the time. But it's also hard in the space to criticize them.
Can we clip that quote? They're horrible at their jobs. Please don't clip that. Please, no. Please, to be honest, like it's actually really hard in this space.
Dude, full panic mode. Why? Because, well, obviously they're paid for, right? But I mean, that's the problem. Because that's the mindset.
They might as well be working for Goebbels.
Yeah.
I mean, they're propagandists. Like I said, you got JoJo from Jersey, these 2 asshats, David Hogg.
Yep.
I got kicked off Twitter for calling. Well, I'm not going to say what I called him because you're monetized right now. It was a British cigarette.
Oh yeah, well, bundle of sticks.
There's a bundle of sticks. There's a week off Twitter. I was like, it was worth it. It was worth it. Like I took that meme from The Last of Us of the dude nailing Abby, and I put Brooklyn Dad Defiant's head on it, and I had David Hogg in the back. I was like, that seems accurate. I should have put the Krasenstein twins on there.
You got to know though, if there are the 2 clowns like this that are getting paid for the left, there are some on the right that are doing the same damn shit.
Absolutely.
Same damn shit. Like, I can't stand the people that simp for Candace Owens and all. It's like, do you not even understand how fake these people are?
Oh,
I mean,
Candace Owens is there.
There's others that are even worse. So yeah, it's insane. But yeah, I just thought like, I don't know. That's why I don't follow anyone blindly. I don't ever, like if they have a good take, fine. It's a good point, but you can't follow anyone blindly. You have to listen. You have to be objective and open. Even again, I don't agree with the quartering 99% of the time. Sometimes he makes good takes. The reason why I have an issue listening to some of him is because I know like he has no backbone. So he's like a flag in the wind, right? If it's blowing everywhere this way, he's gonna push that way, and then the next day he's gonna be the other way. So, but yeah. Yeah. Soul Assassin says he forgot the number one rule of social media: everything's clipped and it never goes away. But yeah. But yeah, that's all that I had to cover tonight. I know we're going almost 2 hours. I don't want to keep you much longer. But thank you for coming on, man. It's always a blast to have you here. Have some good conversations. So for everyone here, as I already brought up, while I plug your channel, what do you got coming up soon? Because like I said, I know you already mentioned you have the weekly show. Go ahead and do that. Plug that again. And then what else you got coming up?
Oh yeah, we've got tomorrow morning, Cinco de Mayo. We've got our morning show, the Place to Be Reviews live at 9:30 until 10 a.m. Yeah, 9:30 to 10. We have the morning show. Saturday night's main event, 9:15 to 11 p.m. Eastern. We have a veritable cornucopia of guests on Saturday nights. My level of sobriety is varying. But no, I'm going to maintain this week because, like I said, afterwards we'll be playing Mario Kart. Every Monday night we've got Going in Raw at 8:30 and Holy Shit News on Wednesday at 8:30 Eastern as well. Usually followed by a member stream, but we're demonetized at the moment, so those will be back soon. We're going to have a subscribe star so you can support us over there. We got merch available on Teespring. Just search Going in Raw or the new Wakuian Order, or you can just email me, the Place to Be Reviews at mail.com, the world's best mail. And get one of these new Wakuian Order shirts, sizes large, extra large, and 2X for the big boys. $15 plus shipping, 100% cotton, pre-shrunk. And
your Wednesday, I love your Wednesday show. Is it the Wednesday show?
Holy Shit News.
Holy Shit News. Yep. So the hockey season, my Wednesday hockey season's over, but what I would do, I would listen to that on the way going there and just listen to you guys just rip it. Dude, this shit is hilarious. That shit is so much fun. Yeah. Yeah. And it's a lot of Florida news. So for any Floridians out there, most of you are mentally ill. I'm just going to say that.
There's a lot of I had a segment on my radio show when I was on FM back in the day called People from Florida Are Just Kind of Crazy. And it was basically,
I don't know,
the precursor to Holy Shit News, except I did it on FM with a lot less swearing and a lot less George Floyd jokes. Back then it was Michael Brown jokes. But no, it's the Wednesday night shows are a blast to do. And like I said, we have our revolving panel. Well, we have our steady three on Wednesdays, myself, CJP, and Soldier Spirit, both from the Legion of Memers. Shout out to the Legion of Memers. And then we have guests on, and yeah, we had Saggy Melons on last night, who is my YouTube wife, and she is fucking amazing and hilarious. It was a blast. We talked about the Mecha Random drama, Jabba the Hutt in a red wig. So yeah, we have a good time. We have a good time, man.
Yeah, if you want laughs, I would definitely recommend that stream. But all streams are good. Even Draven's, if you're into wrestling, Draven's streams, like I love, like that's why. Whenever like WrestleMania is going on, I jump in and because you guys are so into it, so it's nice to just chill with you guys and like basically watch it with friends that are just not on your couch. Essentially, is what it is. So it's awesome to do that stuff. You guys have a great channel there and just a great network of people that I will say like that whole network is awesome. I got to get Draven on the channel soon. I'm gonna start doing a series on my channel covering movies and series that are very, very popular. And it's going to be called, I've already done one for my live stream for the members, but is it amazing or is it overrated? And it's either going to be live streams and some of them are going to be pre-recorded. We're going to have multiple people on and it's a panel. And we're just going to go through like things like Endgame, right? Is that amazing or is it overrated? Older movies did they hold up? Nice. Like, you know what I mean? So gonna go through things of that nature. I'm also gonna be doing some watch parties too. So I'd like to, if you guys are free, have you on. Like I said, I want to get Draven on too because he's a good dude. I love his channel. It likes all the wrestling stuff he carries. He's a good guy. But yeah, man. So if for all of you in the chat, go check this man out. Go subscribe to his channel. Like I said, he'll be monetized again very, very soon. That's the YouTube warlords there and the commies that run this place. But you know, yeah, we did see the whatever podcast clip. Did you see that of the job of the
Gorlock?
Yeah, Gorlock the Destroyer. But did you see they dubbed over with Jabba's voice?
Oh
my God, dude,
I cannot unsee that or unhear that now. It's
every time I see it, every time someone needs to somehow like cut her into the scene of Return. You know what I mean? Like cut her into the chamber room and reverse it.
AI portrait that,
or have Jabba speaking and say, "Yeah, I'm a certified bad bitch." Like, yeah. All right. Well, thank you all for being here. All my members, Cajun, David, Pops was here, Soul Assassin, Knight Ronin, GR, who is now a new member. Thank you for becoming a member. What's up, Mirage? Hope you're doing well, my friend. I know you came in a little bit later. But for all of you that support the channel, that are channel members or just subscribers that watch everything, hey, I greatly appreciate everything that you do for being here, for watching this idiot on internet. I greatly appreciate it. Never thought I'd get to where I'm at. And again, my guest, thank you for being here. Always a good chat, always fun, and definitely have to have you on the channel more often. So without further ado, you all have a good night, good rest of your weekend. Members, I will have a member stream Sunday morning, 11 a.m., so stay tuned for more news on that, and we will catch you all later. Have a good one, everyone.